So what are we dealing with?
This entity has multiple personalities, at times behaving like a computer virus, then a tapeworm, then a botnet.
Distorting any and all digital information with which it comes in contact.
Once infected, nothing recorded, stored, or transmitted digitally can be trusted as fact.
At the outset, it concentrated primarily on use in social media, which was of little concern to us, as it often suited our purposes.
Until 6 months ago, when the entity breached Saudi Arabia's General Intelligence Directorate.
And assimilated their top secret active learning AI before vanishing into the cloud.
Subsequent attacks increased 10,000-fold overnight, spreading exponentially.
Indicating that the entity has since become sentient.
You're telling me this thing has a mind of its own?
Over the last 3 weeks alone, it has accessed our satellite telecommunications, the Federal Reserve, the stock market, and the national power grid.
The FAA, NASA, and the combined branches of our military.
And we're not alone. It has penetrated the world and European central banks.
Gained entry to the major defense, finance, and infrastructure systems of Russia, India, Israel, Australasia, all of Europe.
And what did it do to all of these systems exactly?
Nothing.
Nothing?
It came and it went, leaving fingerprints where they could easily be found and sending a very clear message.
I shall return.
Whatever its ultimate goal is, we're powerless to stop it.
The full force of its energy is now directed at a single objective.
The world's intelligence networks.
The very truth as we know it.
The entire intelligence community is racing to archive hard copies of our fact-positive knowledge bases before our most secure data centers are breached and corrupted.
Which is only a matter of time.
The entity will know precisely how to undermine our every strength and exploit our every weakness.
How to turn our allies into enemies, and our enemies into aggressors.
Why not air gap our intelligence services? Cut them off from the outside world entirely.
We already have, but servers require humans to maintain them.
And humans are the weakest link in any security chain, especially when dealing with a godless, stateless, amoral enemy.
One that has been patiently listening, reading, watching.
Harvesting our deepest personal secrets for years.
Able to beguile, blackmail, bribe, or be anyone it wants. And to manipulate us at will through our total dependence on a carefully constructed digital reality.
An enemy that is everywhere and nowhere and has no center. All right. So what you're telling me is the most awesome goddamn intelligence and tactical apparatus on the planet has no way of killing this thing.
You don't want to kill it, sir. You want to control it.
And how do we do that, Mr. Kittredge?
CIA's assets in the Kremlin informed us that the Russians have focused the majority of their intelligence activity on acquiring 2 halves of a cruciform key.
And what does it unlock?
Not exactly sure. But the Russians seem to believe that it somehow has the power to deactivate our mysterious entity. Though, ideally, they hope to control it, harness it.
Do you believe that, Kittredge?
What matters is that the rest of the world believes it. Japan, India, Germany, the Brits believe it, and yet no one, not even our closest allies, have willingly whispered one word of it to us, which would indicate that there's a global race on to acquire the 2 halves of this key. Every nation in it for themselves, not to kill this thing, sir, but to weaponize it, and in so doing establish a new, incontestable form of global dominance.
How do we find this key first?
Well, we know that a buyer is passing somewhere through the Middle East sometime in the next 72 hours. We believe that he already has 1/2 of this key.
You believe?
Well, at this point, we can't be certain it's not a counterfeit.
How would you verify that?
The only thing that can authenticate one genuine half of the key is the other genuine half of the key. Its true mate, if you will. We think it's some sort of failsafe.
How do we find its mate?
Well, we believe the other genuine half of the key was in the hands of this woman.
Who is she?
Ilsa Faust.
Former British intelligence.
Where is she now?
She's dead, sir. She was excuse me, killed by mercenaries looking to collect a bounty.
And who put up the bounty?
Given her body of work, could have been anyone.
So anyone could have her half of the key.
Not just anyone. I sent a man to find her. The only man that she would have entrusted with her half of the key.
Or does he have it, Kittredge?
Well, at present, I don't know that, sir. He's refused to come in.
Refused. Who the hell is this guy?
That's classified.
I'm the goddamn director of national intelligence. What exactly is it I'm not supposed to know about?
The IMF, Mr. Kittredge.
The World Bank.
No, that's the International Monetary Fund.
Mr. Kittredge.
I mean the other IMF. Ours.
What does it stand for?
Impossible Mission Force.
You're not serious.
I'm afraid he is.
And what do they do exactly?
It's just as the name implies. Whatever the rest of us can't.
And who's in charge?
They're not ones to take orders in the traditional sense. We more or less leave word.
Leave word.
Mr. Kittredge.
The IMF operates outside the community and answers directly to the president.
So let me get this straight. When there's a mission none of you can handle, you just leave word for a nameless man and hope he gets the job done. Is that it?
Should he choose to accept it?
What the hell kind of outfit gets to choose what orders to accept?
The IMF was expressly created to ensure there would be no unintended consequences. If they cannot ensure a mission's ultimate outcome, they're authorized to decline.
I understand. You're upset.
I'm not upset, Kittredge. You wanted me to listen. This is me listening.
All right. I put the bounty on Ilsa's head. I also told you how to find her. And I didn't ask her to steal the key. She did that for reasons of her own. But that's the pattern, isn't it? You get her out of trouble, and she always found her way back in.